What up everybody, and welcome back to a new episode of Harry Builds a React Native App in the month of September. It's almost midway through September right now, so it's getting a little bit dicey, but we can see how far we can get. This episode I'm pretty excited about. It's all about data management, actually creating data for what I'm going to be making in the application, and then saving that data to disk, such that in between instances of the application, the data is still there. What a novel concept. With that being said, let's start coding. So if you recall, I gave an outline of what we're going to be working on through the entire course of me making an application. And what we're going to be working on today is the data management section of this application. React Native is a native application, so it can actually behave like a native app. And there are many native applications that never talk to an external API. They actually store all their data locally on the person's device. And that's what this application that we're making together will do as well. And there's a few ways that I can actually, so when the application starts up, what I have right now is some fixture data. So if I go in here, you can see that it says first year green plant, and in my components.data file, you can see that I actually have a fixtures array which has the dummy data that I'm using to actually power the application. If I actually look through my project, I can see that it's being used in the project list screen as the data here. So rather than just being static, I actually want this to be data that's saved on the device that I can also then add to, delete to, modify, all the nice CRUD things. So to start off with, I'm going to go back to my README because it actually has all my thinking there. We're going to use this one API called Async Storage, which is a built-in API from React Native that lets you store things locally on the file system. The API is essentially the same as local storage, which is nice, meaning that you don't have to worry about things as much. It provides actually a promise API, so you can actually do things like await, which is great because if you can await things more, it makes code just so much nicer to read. And then also to actually manage the data being shared throughout the entire project, I'm actually going to use this library that I've actually never used before called React Copyright. And I'm curious about it. I've heard people talking about it. It has two things that I like most about it. One is that it has a very similar API to the new React Context API, which is component based. So you have a produce and a consume component, which makes for a similar API that is using, and it's also using Immer. And Immer is a fantastic library. If you don't know about it already, read up about it a little bit more on your own time. Essentially, it makes it's an immutable library that allows you to mutate data as if it was mutable. So that means that you can have your base state, and then you can have a draft state. You can just simply mutate it as if it was a mutable object, and then Immer will handle doing all the immutable operations for you, which is sweet. So first thing I want to do is actually start getting this data into React Copyright so it can be shared throughout the entire project. So I need to actually install this. So I'm going to copy this, npm install, save this, let that install. Awesome, installed. And then I think everything else that I want to be using here is going to be local to React Native. So actually, let me just start my package manager so I can start seeing these changes as they go along. Pop up video, refresh this to make sure that it's still there. Sweet. So let's start using React Copyright. I'm going to reuse the same data file because why not? And we're going to import React create state, and then this here is the API here, and let's actually put this at the bottom, and we're actually going to have this be export all these things. And then my initial state for now, we're going to use this be the project fixtures. So actually what we're going to have this be is kind of thinking this in a Redux type way where it's just a global state object. So I'm going to have it just be projects, and it'll be project fixtures, which is sweet. I got an error. Great. that sucks. Can't use this library because of Babel conflicts until Expo upgrades to React Native 5.56. That's really annoying. How can I fix this? I mean, it is a small library. I could potentially just copy and paste it in, which I might do. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to copy and paste React Copyright into my project such that I can use it. Then once it's done, I'm just going to rip it out. So let's do some fun little hacking here. I'm going to npm uninstall React Copyright. I'm gonna make a new file, which is React Copyright.js. I'm going to raw this. Sorry, Brandon, for doing this. I just do want to use your library. So then I just need to install all of its dependencies, which isn't that many. And what I want to do is put this all into one commit so that when I want to actually migrate it, I know which things were there. So let's actually go back to here. And now instead of doing it from there, we're just going to do it from here. Oh, this is a silly thing that I'm doing. And then let's npm start. Let's see if this builds now that I'm just using a hacked together version of it. Refresh this again. Rebuild me some bundles. Can't find variable self. Oh man. Let's get back to a working state because I hate when things are broken. Save, refresh. Oh, everything's fucked up right now. Okay, let's do a good old RMRF. Longest time. This one will take a while. So much npm install. It'd be nice if there was a mode on the camera that just knew how to skip ahead to when all dependencies were done recording. Oh, because right now I'm gonna have to cut this all in post. Because who wants to see a loading indicator? You do that at work all the time. This isn't fun for you. It's not fun for me either. I can try to make it fun, talking to myself in an empty room. All by myself, all by myself. Yeah, maybe I'll leave this in. I will leave it in, and I'll regret it at some point in the future. But for now, oh, the coffee's hitting me strong. Oh, the coffee is hitting me strong. Ah, well, it's done. Great. Let's do npm start. Oh my god. Oh, that coffee. Woo! I haven't had coffee in a couple days. Whoa, whoa. Load, 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 load. Oh my god, I should eat some food. It's just iced coffee. There's nothing like magical about it. It's just my body responds to it that way. Oh my god, why is this so slow? Oh, it's so slow. I need a new computer. Everybody knows this. Everybody dance now. Good, great. Everything's messed up. Everything's broken and nothing works. And does it work after clearing the cache? Good, 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 good. Nothing's working. Okay, let's go back to square one. Okay, what up? That was really annoying. Sorry for all that Michigas. Long story short, I got everything to work primarily by copying and pasting the code for React Copyright. I have some comments at the top here saying that what SHA, this copy and paste, was based off of, aka version 0.8, and that I should use the actual version once it's actually using Babel 7, but this is what the SHA is based off of. Cool, it worked. I just copied and pasted this. I did a git reset so I could get back into a working state. Tried to run this. It yelled at me about immer, so I installed immer. After that, everything else seems to be fine. I think these other libraries are kind of included from React Native by default, so me including it again probably got things confused, so I can just kind of have it use the built-in libraries for now. But all that is to be said that now when I'm actually using create state from my local version of React Copyright, it's working. So if I save this, great. And here I have, again, exporting these things, creating the state here, and I have my state, the global state of my entire project. And actually what I want to do is application data. I'm going to make an interface for this, and I'm going to have this be projects is the key, which is going to be an array of projects. Which, how do I do that in project? So like that, and I can say this, and that should work. We'll find out in a bit. But for now, I have the initial root of it. It's being exported, and what I want to do is, how does this work? Let's check the docs. I have to have a root provider, which has the initial state, but I don't really need that for now. I need to actually have a root component that will handle providing all the data, but also pulling it from app state. So I'm just going to make this called root, because I don't want there to be two app.js's. And then root is going to actually be a component. So let me copy and paste. I'll just see if I can actually write this from scratch. Import React from React. I'm going to do export default class root extends React component. We're going to do render. I'm going to return the router for now, because then this is what will actually be the root render in my application. So if I go here, I'm going to change this to root, where if that refreshes, should all look good. Sweet. And now that I have this using the root, I have a new layer that I can actually handle using the provider from React copy state. So if I'm going to import provider from data, and then what I'm going to do, according to the docs, it's telling me that I need to just wrap everything around it, and that's what I'm going to do. So let's do provider like that. This refreshes, still looks good. Now this provider should provide all that initial state that I already had in there. So to kind of prove it to myself, we're actually going to use this consumer to use that on the list screen. Ooh boy, where is that? Projects fixtures. We're going to do this be consumer here, and we're going to do that. We're going to then wrap it around there. Save that. Should give me an error, but this consumer takes in a function, which is the entire state. And then let's, actually I just want this to be an implicit return, like that. Go down here, cool. And now I can do state dot projects, and that should be it. Oh, it is. Look at that. So I think that's coming from, yes, I know it does. I think this is coming from data. So if I were to change, you know, this to be this, concat another one to have there be twice as many, should be twice as many there, and it is. Sweet, look at that, it's using React Copyright. How awesome is that? So that's cool, but another version of React Copyright. So now we have that there. But what we actually want to do is have it not use fixtures. We actually want it to be able to store it in the, so you can actually do select state with React Copyright, updating state, yep. I can do a create selector, actually do export const selectors, and we're actually going to make a selector for projects, and this is going to do create selector. This is just good hygiene, so I get the state, and I'm return the state.projects. How do I say what this returns? But I can actually say that this is type of application data. That returns that there. So now if I were to go back here, rather than hit B, just using the entire state object, I can actually have the consumer select some things. Let's actually import my selectors up here as well. Copy that, and then I can do select. This is going to be an array of selectors. So we do selectors projects, and now all this is doing is it's just giving me that as an argument. So I could go this, rename that to projects right there. And if I save that again, look at that, it's there again. Sweet. And then this is going to be, I'm not sure how to type that. I'll have to do that in another episode, figuring out, I'll just do that offline, just having that be typed correctly. But for now, I'm just going to say this is projects. This is an array of projects. Project. There you go. Nicely typed. Cool. What I actually want to do is make a little bookmark because I have this working, so I'm going to commit that. Commit this data. Nope, I'm just going to commit just the stuff that I had to get working for React copy, my own. So let's do feature, add local copy of React copy. What the hell is it called again? React copy, right, okay. Let's commit that. Cool. So now we have that working there, so at least it's going to be cached. And what I want to do from here is I want to be able to add to the array. And let's see how I do mutations, updating states. Mutate. So actually, let's go back to my data, and we're actually going to make a Expo const updaters, mutators. Call it mutators. And this is going to be there. So we're going to say add project is 1. And this add project looks like this. This is a mutator, which is just takes in a project. So a project, and then what it returns is mutates, and I get the draft of the entire thing. And what I can do with this draft is draft projects push project. And of course this is there. That's fine. But if I were to have this be there, this would be application state, application data. So that should just add a add project, just want to be 1. So that should just, using this Immer API, takes in a project and I mutate it, and that's all I need to worry about. I don't even have to return it. So let's actually use that in create project screen, where I have here, let's import my data. I'm going to say mutators. I'm going to go here, and we're going to say mutators dot add project. Oh, look at that, that's kind of cool. And we're going to just add this dot state. And is that it? Is that all I need to do? Might be. Save that. Hit plus. New project. And hit create. Look at that! That just worked. That was cool. That was really cool. So I have it now. Actually updating my local cache. So whee! Great. That was really easy. Okay, so now I can add projects, but now the problem is if I were to refresh this entirely, they're all gone because the data is not being saved anywhere, and that's what I want to do now. Is I actually want to take the instance data in this application and actually save it in storage. And for that, I'm gonna go back up to my data. Where is that? So now I can add a project. Sweet, checked off. And then I'm using React Copyright. Sweet. Now I actually want to use Async Storage. Now this is where things get fun, I guess, is that in Async Storage, I can import it. And I'm actually going to use this in root, because this is part of the data here. What I'm actually going to do, let's try this. Let's try just taking from import consumer from data, and we have the provider here. I'm going to do this, and we're going to have the consumer takes in a function, so I'm going to say this dot on data change. Let's actually create that on data change, and we're going to bind this. So we're going to say state is application data, and this is bound, and then here I want to just see if this is being logged. Oops. Hello, Moto. So I want to render nothing, so I'm just going to return null. Cool. So if I navigate, nothing's changing, but as soon as I add a new project, testo, create, I got hello moto. So cool. So shows that I'm actually getting this change. So now that this data is being here every time, if I were to do JSON stringify the data, actually, yeah, let's call it data. Data. Let's save that. Now have that entire thing right there. So let's add a new one. We'll call it, surprisingly, a new one. Hit exclamation mark. There it is. Cool. So we're going to grab this, and we're going to use async storage to actually save this, where we can have this be async, and we're just going to use the API for async storage. Where'd that go? So for saving it, we can just do set item. We're going to call this application data key. We're going to call it application data. And we're going to use await. And this is going to be the key. And this is going to be application data key. And then this is going to be the stringified version of that, which we don't need anymore because it has to be a string. So cool. So that should be what? Objects are not valid as React children. Oh, because this is async, right? So it doesn't want that. That's fine. This is now being saved in local storage. And what we actually want to do is pull this. So component did mount. I want to say we're actually going to grab this out and parse it so we can actually say async const data equals await async storage get item application data key. We're going to call this raw data. We're going to call this blah 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 set state initial state, and this is going to be JSON parse raw data to put it back into raw data. This, otherwise we're just going to have it be an object. Cool. And then this state is going to be initial data be null. Good. And then initial data here. And then we're going to say if this state, initial data, if there's no initial data, just return null, because we actually are still loading it up. Otherwise, here we're going to call this be, what is it called here? Probably I can do initial state. They are calling it initial state, so let's call that initial state too. Call it this state initial. And let's actually rename this initial state. And here as well. Okay, so now we have this kind of pulling just from there. So if I were to add a new thing, project created. Now if I refresh, it might save that. Yeah, it's there. Okay, so now actually I can get rid of my initial fixture because I don't really care about that. And like that. So now if I save that, there it is. It's pulling from local cache. There's no way to delete it right now, which is great, but if I were to just kind of force this, await, set item, we're just going to set this to null, just for funsies. Good, great. Maybe if I save this as a string. Okay, there we go. So it's all empty now, so if I like comment that out, you can see it's still all empty, and I can add a brand new. And there it is. Now it's saved in between instances. Okay, so that was kind of the whirlwind of getting this data loaded, but this is here for now. I need to actually add the ability to delete a project, which is in the project creation screen. So actually I'm going to remove this debugging for now. And actually for now, because I actually want to get the initial state, export const initial state, and this is just going to be, this has to be application data. So this has to have projects, which is an array. So now I have everything nice and localized. So now I can actually go here, and instead of having this be inlined here, I actually have this be right there. Yes, I know, you can import it for me. Yes, thank you. So cool. So this is working. This is completely pulling from local app cache. It's there. Let's actually review this to actually commit this. If I go back to here, app.js, yes, I'm calling from the new root. Actually, my README reminds me I can actually say that I'm using Async Storage as well, which is awesome. So README is good. Data has a whole bunch of updates to it, but that looks good to me, where I have the stuff that's being exported from here, initial state, application data. I really should call this, I guess, application state, because that's kind of the terminology that's being used by that. So let's actually rename this. How do I rename this? Application. Application state. Let's save that. God, VS Code is awesome. So that looks fine. So let's go back to here. Create project screen. It's importing projects from Mutaters. Do I even need that type declaration imported? I do. Why? Oh, for this. Right, obviously. Right. So cool. That looks good. It's adding the project. It's all type checked. Project list screen. It's using the selectors to actually just grab that as well. All the indenting, that was great. Root, it's a whole brand new file. Let's come back to that. Data, again. Application state, looks awesome. Let's save that. Now root. And the thing that I actually want to do, which I might do offline, because I don't really want to bore you with this as I learn it, is I want to add type script definitions to the selector component of React copy, right? Because right now I have to, let's save that too. Right now in the project list screen, I'm manually typing that this is project, even though it should be here. So I'm wondering if I can actually figure out a way to tell it what it is. If not, it's not a big deal. I'm gonna get vexed about that. Readme updated that. And then the root, let's see this root. Initial state, application state, and then actually I want to rename that to make this consistent. Application state key. This is going to be called application state. Oh, and it's gone because I changed the key, of course. So we'll call this project 0 to have a nice little default. It's there. If I refresh it again, it's still there. Awesome. So this is the state, initial state. On data change, I'm saving it, stringifying it. On mounting it, I'm actually saying the initial data, and once it's there, yeah, that looks good. So feature, have all data management managed by React copyright. That is awesome. That was fun. Let's actually push this up. GG push. And it's pushed. Now if I go to the repo, fresh, 14 seconds ago. Sweet, I got data. Awesome, that was the episode. A lot of hiccups in the beginning, but hopefully you got things together by the end of it. Stay tuned for the next episode where I'm going to be making the calendar list view, which is going to be very exciting, getting that brief little screen working. If you're not already a subscriber, become a subscriber. I have these contents coming out as often as I can. And I hope to see you again in the next episode of Harry Makes a React Native Application, the September edition, aka the first edition. But I'll see you again next time. Bye!